profound spiritual transformations available to us as humans. The alchemy of grief. With the holidays approaching, many of you have reached out about feeling the weight of loss more acutely. Empty chairs at the family tables, traditions that feel hollow, and the complex emotions that come with celebrating when your heart is breaking. Here's what I want you to know right up front: grief isn't something to get over, it's something to transform. Today, we're exploring how loss can become the greatest teacher of love that you'll ever encounter. Let's start with what grief actually is, because our culture has gotten this so wrong. Grief isn't a problem to solve or a wound to heal and forget. Grief is love with nowhere to go in the physical world. And it's one of the most powerful alchemical processes available to the human soul. From a scientific perspective, grief actually changes our brain structure. Neuroplasticity research shows that intense emotional experiences like loss actually rewire our neural pathways, often increasing our capacity for empathy, compassion, and emotional depth. What feels like breaking apart is actually breaking open. The holidays don't create grief, they amplify what's already there. Suddenly, everywhere you look, there are reminders of togetherness, tradition, and joy, while you're carrying the absence of someone precious. It's like trying to enjoy a beautiful song when one of the key instruments is missing. You can still hear the music, but the silence where they should be is deafening. This isn't a flaw in your grief process. This is grief doing what grief does, reminding you of profound love that created it in the first place. We've all heard about the 5 stages of grief, but here's what most people don't know. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross originally wrote those 5 stages for people who were dying, not for those left behind. Grief doesn't follow a neat timeline with a graduation ceremony at the end. Real grief is more like weather patterns, sometimes sunny, sometimes stormy, with unexpected shifts that catch you off guard. You might wake up feeling peaceful and end the day sobbing in the grocery store because you saw their favorite cereal. This isn't backsliding. This is grief's natural rhythm. In ancient alchemy, practitioners believed that they could transform base metals into gold through a series of sacred processes. The alchemy of grief works similarly. It transforms the heavy lead of loss into the gold of expanded love. Stage one, the disillusion. This is where everything you thought you knew falls apart. Your identity as someone's partner, child, parent, or friend gets shattered. The future you planned together dissolves. The phase feels like death itself, and in many ways it is the death of life as you knew it. Stage two, the fermentation. This is where the real magic begins. In the darkness of your loss, something new starts growing. You begin to discover strengths you didn't know you had. You find meaning in helping others who are grieving. You develop a deeper appreciation for the time that you did have together. Stage three, the distillation. Here you start separating what's essential from what's not. You realize that while their physical presence is gone, the love between you remains completely intact. You begin to understand that death ends the human body, not the relationship. Stage four, the coagulation. This is where your transformed understanding crystallizes into a new way of being. You carry them with you not as a burden, but as a living part of who you've become. Their love becomes integrated into how you love others. So, how do we work with this during the most emotionally charged time of the year? Create new rituals of connection. Instead of trying to recreate what was, create something new that honors what is. Light a candle for them during dinner. Make their favorite recipe and share stories while you cook. Set a place at the table, not as an empty reminder, but as an acknowledgement of their continued presence in your heart. Carry on a tradition that they loved. I have heard so many people talk about losing their parents and grandparents and how Christmas will never be the same. Well, I say it will and could be even better because you are the matriarch now. It's your job to create the traditions for your children and grandchildren. The gift of presence over presence. Your loved one's greatest gift to you wasn't anything they bought, it was their presence in your life. This year, give that same gift to others. Be fully present with the people who are still here. Listen deeply, love fiercely. This is how you honor what you've lost. Reframe the firsts. The first Christmas, birthday, or anniversary without them isn't an ending, it's a beginning. It's the first time you get to love them in their new form. It's the first time you get to carry their essence forward in a conscious way. Grief comes in waves, and the holidays can feel like tsunami season. Here's how to ride them instead of fighting them. When a wave hits, don't run from it. Breathe into it. Let it move through you. Grief waves are actually love waves. They're your heart's way of processing and integrating the magnitude of what you shared with this person. It's absolutely okay to feel your feelings and release them, talk about them, honor them. Here's the most beautiful part of grief alchemy: it doesn't diminish your capacity to love, it expands it. Every person who has grieved deeply knows this truth. Loss breaks your heart open so wide that more love can fit inside. You don't have less love now that they're gone. You have the same amount of love you always had, plus all the love they poured into you during their lifetime. You've become a container for both your love and theirs. Let's address something important. There's a difference between the sacred sadness of grief and clinical depression. Sacred sadness honors what was lost while still allowing moments of joy, connection, and hope. De- Depression feels like being trapped under a heavy blanket with no way out. If you're experiencing persistent hopelessness, inability to function, or thoughts of self harm, please, I urge you to reach out to a mental health professional. Grief is natural. Suffering in silence is not required. Your loved ones don't disappear when they die. They graduate to a different form of existence. They become part of your spiritual support team. The love you shared becomes a living bridge between worlds. They're still here with you. As a medium, I promise you that. They are holding you, hugging you, smiling at you, even comforting you, and they don't want you to suffer. Grief is a journey. My most recent grief loss was my mother. It took me a year to even mention her name without sobbing. Then one day I realized I was blocking my communication with her through the excruciating pain. I heard her say, "It's time to stop crying." And I did. From that moment on, I allowed more of the beautiful things we shared together into my heart and my mind. I smiled and I talked fondly of her, and the absence of her waned because I knew she was with me. As an intuitive person and death doula, I know how it works. I had so much knowledge, but I had to go through the process of grief. No one escapes that. I know she is still here with me, and to me it's reassuring that she is in such a euphoric place in her pure spirit form. With that said, I invite you to pay attention during the holidays for signs of their presence. They often work overtime during emotional seasons, sending extra comfort through synchronicities, dreams, or sudden warmth you feel when you think of them. Beautiful souls, grief is not your enemy. It's love's way of honoring what was precious. This holiday season, instead of trying to feel differently, try feeling fully. Let the love and the loss coexist. They're not opposites, they're dance partners. Your grief is a testament to how deeply you've loved. That's something to honor, not hide. Remember, if you need support, go to my website and email me, or book a reading if you're moved to. You're not meant to walk this path alone. Lean on others. Until next time, trust your process, honor your love, and remember transformation is never comfortable, but it's always sacred.